Hey guys, it's Brant with In My Head channel, and I'm back and finally here to do a typo negative video. Now, as I said before, the typo negative videos is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be, and you have to bear with me on this first video I'm doing because I'm going to be using a new program called OSB. My son introduced it to me when we were doing some gaming things. And so basically I've got my camera here and I've got my webcam on my laptop here. And I've got my microphone, and so we're going to be recording, we're going to be listening to the music, we're going to listen to this together, we're going to listen to these songs in their entirety, and we're going to start off with the first album, and I want to go a little bit about some history, so we're going to get into Typo Negative's first album, Slow, Deep, and Hard. Typo Negative is a band that was formed in Brooklyn, New York in 1989 by Peter Steele, who sang lead vocals and played bass guitar, Kenny Hickey, who sang backing vocals and also lead vocals on some songs and played guitar, Josh Silver, who sang backing vocals and played keyboards, and Sal Abruscato, I think that's how you say it, who played drums and was replaced by Johnny Kelly, who was originally the band's drum tech. Johnny joined the band as the drummer shortly after Bloody Kisses was released, but would not actually play on a Typo Negative album until 2007's Dead Again album release. Sal played on the band's first three albums, Slow, Deep, and Hard, Origin of the Feces, and Bloody Kisses. The band used program drums on October Rust, World Coming Down, and Life Is Killing Me. And Johnny Kelly played on Dead Again. The band was formed after Peter Steele left Carnivore and decided to form a band with his childhood friends in 1989. They were signed by Roadrunner Records and released their first album, Slow, Deep, and Hard, in 1991. The album was originally titled None More Negative and was recorded and released by the band when they were known as Repulsion. But they had to change the name due to another band being called Repulsion. They changed the band's name to Sub-Zero, and Peter had a negative mark inside of a zero tattooed on his arm, and that was intended to be the band's logo. But again, the band had to change the name of the band, so Peter came up with the idea of naming the band Typo Negative after hearing a radio advertisement looking for Typo Negative blood. The new name also worked with the logo. When Typo Negative signed their contract, Peter signed his name in a mixture of blood and semen. It has been claimed by Peter that he wrote the music in the span of one night in the aftermath of a horrible relationship breakup, and this reflected in the hostility of the music and the anger of the lyrics. The album focused on the pain and agony of being in a relationship that had gone bad. The album's theme swirled around violence, depression, suicide, homicide, with long songs that have multi-part themes. Peter himself even attempted suicide on October 15, 1989, by slashing his wrists, and later admitted that he had fallen in love with the wrong person. The album is an amazing mixture of gothic industrial, hardcore metal, and punk stirred with a huge Black Sabbath stick. There is a rawness to Peter's overall vocals that was prevalent with Carnivore on this album, but Peter's vocal styling would change from this album to the vocal styling he would keep for the rest of the albums the band would record. The band notoriously became known as the Drab Four and had a dark sense of humor and very often self-deprecated themselves. In keeping with this dark theme of humor, the album cover features a closely zoomed in, blurry image of sexual penetration. The band's first release, Slow, Deep, and Hard, was released by Roadrunner Records on June 16, 1991. It had been recorded by the band at Systems 2 in Brooklyn, New York in 1989 when the band was still known as Repulsion before they had their deal with Roadrunner. The album consists of 7 tracks and runs a total of 58 minutes and 31 seconds. The 7 songs are broken up into several phrases, each with a clever and somewhat long names to go along with the long track times that range from 1 minute and 4 seconds to 12 minutes and 39 seconds. All the lyrics and the music were written by Peter Steele except for part of the track Zero Tolerance, which includes samples from Johann Sebastian Bach. Now this is going to be a part of a series. I'm only going to cover one song tonight, and this is going to be a 5-part series. There's 7 songs on the album, but there's some that I wouldn't really hardly call songs. Typos known to be jokesters, and they actually have a song on here that is silent. And in later albums, they will have what they call joke tracks or prank tracks, and they also had interludes that was in between songs. This album includes an interlude that has a very interesting thing about it that I will cover whenever I get to that. So this is a 5-part series. So if this is the first one you're watching, be sure to check the other ones out. If you watched this one and the other ones in the future, I appreciate you watching. So this 5-part series will make up the album. So the first song we're going to start with in today's video, I'm going to be listening and giving my thoughts on the first track titled Unsuccessfully Coping with the Natural Beauty of Infidelity. And this runs 12 minutes and 39 seconds. It's a long track, and it's broken up into 3 phases. And I'm going to try to pronounce these as best I can because Typo is not, like I said, they're known for being pranksters. Phase 1 is an organic transmutagenesis synthetic division. Phase 2 is coitus interruptus. And phase 3 is I know you're fucking someone else. So, but on this track, before we get started, Peter Steele played the bass and sang the lead vocals. Kenny Hickey played guitar and sang backing vocals. Josh Silver played the keyboards and sang backing vocals as well, and also produced some sound effects. And Sal played the drums and the percussion. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Unsuccessfully Coping with the Natural Beauty of Infidelity. And the song basically starts off with this keyboard that goes. It's called a sweep, and it goes from the low all the way up to the high, and it just does that, Okay, and it kicks in here.
Trust and you'll be trusted. Send the liar to the fool. Lost someone if you're busted. In love and war, there ain't no rules.
So in this one, he's definitely setting the tone of the album. Trust and you'll be trusted, says the liar to the fool. And he has that carnivore voice about him. So they slow the album down, and I remember the first time I heard Typo Negative. One of the things I was amazed about them is how slow they play songs. I mean, some of the songs, especially later on, they play stuff so slow, and you just didn't hear bands play stuff this slow. And you really heard, this is where that Sabbath and Deep Purple kind of sound comes in, where they just are really dark and heavy. Peter very much still sounds like Carnivore on here. The way he's singing Carnivore, and they still had that very much punk and thrash sound about them. And Kenny's first solo. And I love the double bass there. And that ooh that they do. They do that a lot. And then Peter comes in and he's got all this distortion on his bass right here. Okay, and I love that lyric there where he talks about out of sight, out of mind, the moral of betrayal. The prophets preach to forgive and forget, but I'm sorry, but I'm unable. That's a great lyric. Peter, he actually got better as he got along, writing some very, very deep lyrics. And like I said, this is their first album, and this was fresh off Carnivore, and this is the most Carnivore-esque album that you hear from Type O. Even whenever they hit the next album that I'll review in my next series, Origin of the Feces, they basically took a lot of these songs and kind of remixed them and rehashed them, and we got a good scream coming here. I love Peter's screams. And like I said, I might get sidetracked here in my thoughts because the song, I'm gonna be listening to it while I'm talking, and I may want to, just jump in on something here. But got a good scream coming up here, and then just this is more of that really slow stuff we're talking about. I love this whole part here. This whole part here, just the snare is only hitting like once every 10 seconds. I mean, it's like, this is how that time is. It's like, that is so slow. Type O Negative is actually very challenging music to play. If you've ever played it or tried to play it, it's very challenging music because, especially on this album, they're either busting balls and running at 90 miles an hour with fast riffs and double beats, or they're just playing these really slow negative. And this is I think this is phase 2, Coitus Interruptus, because we're getting ready to go into I Know You're Fucking Someone Else. Starts right here. And I love this part where he says, "Don't think I don't know what you're doing," or I love that. I like it. I like the way he says it even better on Origin of the Feces. And I read an interview just today. I want to talk about something once this gets started. And then the slut, whore, and the C word. And I'm not editing this. And I like the whole cheesy, "He knows you're fucking someone else." It's cheesy, but I love it. This lyrics are great. Inserted that diaphragm before you left. Freelance gynecology. Where there's a will, there's a way. So they go into that whole little thing again. But this is just, this is the great part of this song. And what I was saying is everything about this song I like even better on Origin of the Feces, because Peter was a perfectionist. And I read in an interview just today that he never liked to leave anything alone. He always thought that he could do something better. He always thought that something could be done. So by the time Slow, Deep, and Hard was released in 91, they had done this album 3 years before. This is the album that actually got them signed. And they were self-produced. Josh produced and engineered, and Peter produced along with Josh. So we're in this nice little section here. I like this. I'm going to break here from talking just for a minute for this. This is the voice that we would hear. This is the Peter we would come to know and love. I mean, the man has an incredible, unmistakable voice. So, you know, they were self-produced. This is the album that got them their deal. And by the time this was released by Roadrunner, Peter had kind of moved on and found ways to improve this album. And so that's what they did with the... I don't want to get too much into Origin of Feces because I'm going to cover it all on its own. But this is... he basically rehashed the songs, mixed songs together, added in their cover of Jimi Hendrix's Hey Joe and named it Hey Pete, changed the lyrics, and then made it sound like it was live. It was a mock live album that they did a really good job making it sound like they were playing in a club in front of a hostile crowd. And this whole little part of the song here is where we really hear the way Peter would begin to sound as he progressed into Origin of Feces, and then progressed definitely into Bloody Kisses, and and he began to sound like pick up the vampire, the R's, and kind of take on that persona of the vampire, a vampire, or not the vampire, a vampire. So so we're gonna get into the last little bit here. What they're gonna basically do is they're gonna reprise. They've done this little interlude here in the middle of I Know You're Fucking Someone Else. And they're getting ready to reprise back into it. We got a couple minutes left in the song. So they're reprising back into that I Know You're Fucking Someone Else thing right here. You think it's over, but it's not. They're good at doing that too. I love this syrup. I've felt this many times.
You make me hate myself.
This man's my spirit animal, y'all. I'm telling you. This song would actually be renamed on the album. They do this song pretty much in its entirety on Slow, Deep, and Hard, and they just rename it I Know You're Fucking Someone Else. It's the first song on the album. It's got the cheesy background. I know, he know. They get even cheesier right here. He said he knows. And then we got the outro solo and everything, and then we have the very last line that I love. Unsuccessfully Coping with the Natural Beauty of Infidelity. Track number 1 off of Typo Negative, Slow, Deep, and Hard. I like this song. I love it. It's one of my favorite, not this version, but the other version off of Origin of Feces is probably one of my favorite Typo Negative songs. But here we go at the very end of it. Oh, wait a minute. Am I thinking? You know what? I was wrong. See, that's where these two are so similar. You diehards out there are probably like, wait a minute. And I'm diehard too, but I just kind of got caught up in the moment there. But on the Origin of the Feces, at the very end of it, when they're holding that note before they end it, he goes, "And thanks for the memories, you fat ass bitch." In true that New York, the accent. I love this song. I don't like this version as well as the version on. I'm looking at my camera and I should be looking up here. I don't like this version as good as the version from the Origin of Feces. And like I said, I'm sorry if I'm still kind of scatterbrained on this. This is the first video doing it in this format. It'll get better as it goes along, and please forgive any imperfections, but I'm just freaking ecstatic to finally be getting to do typo negative videos. And these are going to come pretty quick. You'll probably see these come out really quickly, because since I'm only doing little short ones, you'll have, and the next one, you're not going to have all the introduction. I'm just going to get right into the song. So anyway, there it is. There's the first track of Slow, Deep, and Hard, Unsuccessfully Coping with the Natural Beauty of Infidelity. And I'm Brant, and this is In My Head channel, and it's typo negative month. So thanks for watching, and continue to watch. I'll see you next time. Be sure to click on the like here, click on the, or subscribe here, like this, comment, and click on this video if you want to see it, okay? And thanks for watching. See you guys next time.